Right. Good evening, chat. How are we doing? And I am totally organized and definitely not throwing all of us together and setting up the stream whilst we start this one up. Definitely not what I'm doing. So, yeah, building the knights today. I got a feeling we're probably gonna just like smash through these. Yeah, as I remembered. They're not exactly the most difficult things in the world to put together. And I think I've got over the emotional side of building Bretonnians again, so hopefully. Okay, it's incredibly useful, the instructions. About as much as I remember, to be honest. Right. Hopefully my chat's going to behave. Not you guys in chat, but my feed on my iPads. Oh, that felt very good to do, even if I have to put half of these back. Don't need Pegasus faces. Ones we need. So how is everyone doing? Whilst I'm getting things set up.
And waiting for you wonderful people in chat. What meeting?
Right. Right, let's get building. Right, we have 12 horses to build. Grab the heads for them. And it looks like I've been lucky. A few people have reported on the internet that the heads for their knights arrived completely deformed. And some taking a rather phallic look. Start by just trimming off the sprue. Well, there's much sprue on these. It's a good idea to run a bead of thicker glue on these knights. And to put quite a bit in the hole for the push fit as well. As these are slightly older designs. Sometimes I need a little bit of help sealing together properly. Oh, that's fascinating. You see what looks like print lines? It's really interesting. There's not really much to say if I haven't already said, really, so yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything you want to talk about, please let me know. Yeah. I already use this glue. It has a rather like nostalgic smell to it. I think it's the best way to put it. I remind if you are working plastic glue to do so in a ventilated area, as the fumes can be dangerous. How the night's going? Well, we've just started, and well, the horses which come on a sprue like this, you glue them together, like so. Make sure that they're lined up. And then they slot into their base. I miss these old, like, in quotation marks, modular horses. I wonder if we'll get any of the metal. Well, I suppose the Grail Knights are going to be a mix of these and metal parts, aren't they? Yeah, the reason they're designed this way is so that you can easily like change the heads. So if you have like your Grail Knights or your Questing Knights, you have different head options. So you get these horses and then you got different heads, and for the Grail Knights they're metal ones. If I remember correctly. I also want to know, and it's something we'll try. I have a collection of 3D printed stuff that looks like it might be compatible. If it is, I'm going to be really interested to try kit bashing some stuff. Yeah, also it's a good idea to use plastic glue. As in thick plastic glue rather than thin plastic glue, to help try and melt the plastic more together and try and fill any gaps that might occur. Because these are 21 years old at this point, and there often will be seams. Well, gaps, rather. That's the word I'm looking for. Like in English. And yeah, generally speaking, no matter how you're basing Bretonnian knights, generally a good idea to keep them on their slots. And then just build over the bases with whatever thing you're going to put on them. And on that note, I'm going to let you guys decide as well how I should base these. Did I do it like the proper old school method of using sand and PVA? Or should I do something a bit more modern and sensible? No rush now, so if you're watching this back on a VOD, you're this far into the VOD on YouTube or Twitch, let me know in the comments. Or on Discord how you think I should base these. Also, yes, Goblin Green is the colour I'm going to be painting them regardless. If we do like a more like modern way of doing it or not. And another question for you guys. How lore accurate should I be? Should I paint... well, when I say lore accurate, I mean like how should I paint them? Should I do it properly by the book, so all of the knights are painted in the same colours? With the same pattern and the same heraldry? Or should I do variations of the design of where the blue and yellow goes? As there is also, the option to paint every single knight in its own unique heraldry. But I do quite like the idea of more modern Bretonnian design, of keeping them all the same colours. With the exceptions being Questing Knights and Grail Knights. Why won't you go in? There we go. Hey Aberrant, how's it going? So, yeah. As you can probably see, it's going together quite quickly. Yeah, so it's like, I think the main secret to building Bretonnians is not to attach the knights where possible until you've started painting. Especially if you're going to do something stupid with heraldry. Right, that's the horse's torsos done. Hey, thanks for a follow. And thanks for subscribing to Prime, that's really kind. And hey Slave over on YouTube, how's it going? Basically reliving my childhood and throwing together the Knights of the Realm. Oh yeah, thank you so much for subscribing. He is king, I'm assuming that's meant to say. Please correct me. I'm just going to blindly hope that the casting is done sensibly enough that I can just light the heads on. Yeah, just running a bead of glue on the outside. That's what's going to be contacting the body of the horse. I'm just going to randomly put them on. Not going to put much thought into it. The more randomized they are, the better. Hey Faz, how's it going? Yeah, what's everyone up to today? I suppose I should probably do that, like, YouTuber influencer thing, right? And, like, talk about the today's drama with the pre-orders. Oh, not pre-orders. Fuck. What impression, not sure. Well, I hope you have some luck with your Thunderhawk. But yeah, did anyone bother trying to get the limited edition End and the Death book today? Because as far as I can tell, they royally f***ed it up. Going from 9 hours of A&E. Yeah, don't join the Death Guard. They're very smelly. Highly recommend not joining the Death Guard. Well, that's the thing, right? And it's why I kind of want to leave up to you guys. What should I do to base my models? Because one thing's for certain. Goblin Green is going to be used. The question is, am I using it to... am I using it to paint sand? Because I will do that. Or should I use something a bit more modern and a bit more contemporary? And possibly a little bit more sensible? You know, something a bit, something like this, which would make a bit more sense. So, this brand new army, which, I got on Saturday, is from 2003. These are no tales that are just... I think most of the old... the old tables, the physical ones, had like millimeter-long grass tufts that you used to cover the board PVA glue and put sand on with a the static thingy. Can't remember what they're called. And what does Nostalgia Tuppy says? Well, I'm personally quite conflicted. Yeah, well, same, Slave. That's what I started with. I mean, it didn't start in 2001, though. I would have been, 3 years old. But I did start off incredibly young. It must have been like 2006, 2007? Yeah, it must have been 2007, I think. I got into Warhammer. So, yeah, I got intercepted at a very young age by a Warhammer fanatic. Oh, you had screw top ones. Does that mean I do have some paints from way back when? This finish trying to get started on the girl nights. Yeah, no, exactly. That's how I feel about it. It's like, I've missed Warhammer Fantasy a lot. So I've rambled about it here enough. I think everyone's probably relatively bored of it. But Warhammer Fantasy is what got me into Warhammer. want to see. Because I have these 3D printed heads. Oh yeah, they're way smaller. Ah. Okay, that's good to know. How do bodies stack up in size? Yeah, they're tiny. That's adorable, actually. Right. Enough about 3D printed stuff I made to cope without fantasy. Oh yeah, that's the point as well. I found my Fey Enchantress model in the most cursed iteration. So I bought her in a short time period between metal models and the end of fantasy. Oh yeah, no, in terms of the quality of the Finecast, yeah, I was really lucky. I mean, I have some Finecast models which really aren't that good, but yeah. No, there aren't any flaws in that model, which is really nice. Well, as much as it annoys other Bretonnians, you could say she does have an elven charm to her. When building knights, I always found it was a good idea to not actually glue the knight down. Oh yeah, same. My plan for this army, at the very minimum, is to have a Lothern Seaguard detachment. As this is going to be themed around the city of Bordello. The plan is to get allied detachments of the Empire, Empire, Telia, Estalia, and High Elves to represent like the mercenary crews of the ships that would be in harbour. At this point, I probably should be switching over to using the thin plastic glue, but I kind of like doing this for nostalgia's sake. We're sat on their horses properly, but we're not gluing them to their horses, which is the important thing when building knights. I'm going to keep stressing that because a lot of people get very frustrated when painting the knights, but they can't reach details, and it's really easy to avoid messing up and getting frustrated. But it is also important to build them onto the horses, like I'm doing, just not gluing them onto the horses. So I have not used Citadel plastic glue in a very long time. As you've probably noticed, I'm using Revel Contactor. This stuff lasts for ages. and is very cheap. And you can basically find it anywhere. And it works just as good, if not better, than Citadel plastic glue. And generally speaking, not that it's something I'd recommend you do, or that you should ever really make a habit of. I think the smell's nicer. But don't make a habit of sniffing it, though. For general assembly and stuff, I use this, which is Tamiya Extra Thin Cement. It works really, really well for when you're just like gluing arms and stuff on, because it dries very quickly. And doesn't leave any marks whatsoever. And we will be using that to attach the, well, most of the bodies really to the knights. And so for those of you who don't know, I am in possession of quite possibly one of the least intelligent wargaming products I have ever seen. And it's really kind of amusing. So generally speaking, when it comes to any kinds of chemicals, it's widely regarded to be a pretty bad idea to smell them, right? Or sniff them or inhale them in any way. Because your lungs are quite sensitive and quite precious. And, you know, you should try and do whatever you can to protect them. So, you know, it's like, don't smoke, don't do drugs, kids. You know, generally, don't inhale fumes or any kind of smoke or vapors, really. Water vapor is a bit, it's actually kind of weird. But generally speaking, don't inhale, like, your paint fumes or your glue fumes. Especially not thinner for enamel paints. Like, just because this is odorless doesn't mean it's safe. Right? This is, yeah, this is still actually kind of dangerous for you. Just because you can't smell it doesn't mean it's safe. And, AK Interactive, in their infinite wisdom, decided to release this product, Wargaming Thinner Fruit Scented. For a start, it smells like soap. It doesn't smell like fruit. But yeah. Maybe fate was swallowed and enters airways. So if this enters your airways, it might kill you. And it's fruit-scented. Something which, if you allow to enter your airways, will kill you, is fruit-scented. And aimed at wargamers. And, generally speaking, I'd like to say we're all pretty smart individuals here. I mean, you're smart enough to like Warhammer Fantasy or the Old World here. But I'm not sure I trust people with something which can cause you to die if you sniff it by making it fruit scented. That just sounds like a disaster waiting to happen, in my opinion. And yeah, it's again like to be boring. It's why I very much like stress good health and safety practices whilst hobbying, especially because like I use a lot of not so safe chemicals when it comes to painting and stuff. I quite like using enamel and alcohol-based paints. I am very much of the the Church of Saint Tamiya, and I have a drawer full of Tamiya paints. And these are wonderful paints with your airbrush, by the way. It's also what you use to paint Thousand Suns in the retro one. Well, this is the source to how you paint Thousand Suns in the Horus Heresy colour. this clear red. That's how the Forge World team do it. And yeah, it's why, generally speaking, paint thinner smells obnoxious. It's also why methylated spirits, which is a wonder product for hobbying, also smell bad. Well, not that I've tried it, but supposedly are intentionally really repulsive taste-wise. I'm not sure why you try and drink methylated spirits, but apparently people have. Or did. Yeah, so in this room, like right off camera here, like there, is an activated carbon filter which does an initial pass to pull any air from here straight away. And I also have I can't remember what rating, but a pretty high rating air filter which sits behind my hobby desk towards a window, designed to extract air through it, clean it as if I got a window, close it, will then recycle the air through the room. In which case I won't be doing anything dangerous with chemicals. But like right now I have a window open and it directs air straight out the window. So I constantly have an airflow pulling any dangerous chemicals away from the hobby space. As yeah, I do work with not good chemicals. Including what's in my 3D printer, which only goes on when I'm not in the room, and when the room is in maximum ventilation. I probably shouldn't laugh at that, that's kind of funny, as... Yeah, I've had quite a few people talk to me about 3D printing recently, and yeah, general advice, don't 3D print in the room in which you're spending most of your time. Also, something to change the subject back to Warhammer. I know, a novelty. The next video, talking about the whole Legends situation with the factions which aren't in the old world, is almost done in terms of the script. I wanted to wait until I had a chance to properly sit down and read the rulebook to see what the rulebook has to say about different factions and what's going on before touching the topic. Whilst I'm very optimistic about this game, there are lots of reasons to not be optimistic. And you'll find plenty of channels out there on YouTube and Twitch explaining to you why Warhammer The Old World is probably not in the best place right now, and why they think it might not be, and giving reasons why. And I don't want to do the whole drama thing for the sake of drama for views, like other channels. I want to be significantly more neutral about it. That's not to say yeah, it's not to say that I'll be, optimistic when things aren't looking good and stuff, but I try to be a lot more grounded, I guess. Because there's lots of good things that really should happen, or likely will happen for this game. And the way they've been talking about the tone they've been setting for the game makes me feel quite optimistic. And it's like money talks, right? And the way that this game has sold already, like, they've only released 2 of the factions in terms of ranges. This box, and the Tomb King's ones, and then the books as well. And they've all sold incredibly, incredibly well. And Games Workshop is a pretty ruthless but successful company, right? When it comes to model ranges, and what gets developed and what gets supported, and what they only make what they feel confident will make money. And things that don't make money disappear. Right? Games Workshop has invested years of salaries, actual years. They hired people, they've developed, they've redesigned everything to do with this game from the ground up. That's a huge amount of money they've invested. And whilst, yes, they have, reintroduced a lot of the old range, which saves them money on the initial production of things, they are still making new things. They've also gone to the effort of resculpting and redesigning a lot of the old resin and a lot of the old metal stuff. Like almost all of the returning metal models and once were resin, now are metal models. Or were once metal, then resin, now metal again models. They've added a lot of detail, spent a lot of time and effort onto actually making them a new product and something they can actually produce again. And that takes a lot of money. We also know that they've sunk quite a bit of time into developing and researching the lore, even if it was, for Warhammer Total War. Along that time, Games Workshop were the guys designing and sculpting the models which Total War Warhammer then went on to use in the game. Most of the artwork for Warhammer Total War, it would seem, Games Workshop made, or had commissioned and licensed, and then gave Creative Assembly to use. Notably, new stuff as well, like the artwork of Cafe, which you see featured in the main rulebook. They've put a lot of time and money into this game, and I don't think they're going to just let it die after spending this much money on it. It would be very weird for them to do. My current headcanon, and this is just purely a theory at this point, is Games Workshop is fucking embarrassed. They're really kicking themselves right now. The shareholders are almost certainly been at their throats, or breathing down their necks, whatever kind of phrase you want to use, about the fact Games Workshop's been missing out on a lot of the money they could have been generating from Warhammer Fantasy because of the success of Warhammer Total War. Like, when Warhammer Total War died, when Age of Sigmar came about, when 8th edition happened, Games Workshop was in a really rough place. Them deciding to sacrifice fantasy so they could focus on investing and developing systems which would make them a lot more money was something they considered to be necessary at the time, despite the fact the licensing department had, made the deal that would save Games Workshop and Creative Assembly, right? I mean, Creative Assembly might still fail, based off how they've been acting with anything other than, well, even including Warhammer Total War. And I say that as someone who tried to get a job there. And yeah, the shareholders have been asking for this to return because this is an obvious moneymaker for them. And I think that's also why Games Workshop's focused on the factions it has for the old world. Because it's for Warhammer 1 races, with what was most popular from Warhammer 2, basically. With the exception of Skaven, which they evidently have plans for in Age of Sigmar. Because one thing I've been finding really interesting is keeping a note of what factions are popular when it comes to Warhammer Total War, and it's almost always the Empire, Bretonnia, and the Elves, and then Forces of Chaos. And that's basically what we're seeing return. And if you look at the map, I've pointed out in my Everything You Need to Know video, the Warhammer Total War 1 map and the Old World map are basically the same. And I don't think that's coincidental. They saw the success of Warhammer 1 Total War and then decided, shit, we need to capitalize on this. And what we basically have happening is we've got a tabletop game based on a video game based on a tabletop game. I think it's the best way to put it. And I think it's going to do well because of it. Also, it's just occurred to me that I've missed a couple of messages on YouTube because the app's bugged. Okay. What are people saying? Yeah, I've got certain actions left out. Stage Sigma. Yeah. So I've been talking to for Book of Grudges. He's been really, really helpful. And he's a great guy, and I am very, very glad he has patience for me and my questions. And we're talking about it today, what we think's going to happen with the old world. So asking for some advice on how I should build my Bretonnian army. And I think what the plan is going to be, and again, this is my speculation based on how I'm reading into things. So what I think they're doing is each edition will expand the map. We'll focus on a different area. So right now we're focusing on the quite literal old world, and focusing around the human empires of Bretonnia and the Empire. Next edition, I think, will be Cathay and Kislev, because they did some really interesting things with the lore, and they've implied that Kislev and Cathay have a border. Which doesn't really make sense in my mind. I can see it if they decide to expand Kislev, like, basically across all of, like, modern-day Russia. So I think second edition will be Cathay and Kislev, and they'll reintroduce some more factions then. My bets would be on the Ogre Kingdoms, and possibly Demons? I'm not sure about the Demons, though. Might be Vampires, based off the Warhammer Quests stuff, and the Russian vampires we have in that. Not sure what other factions, like, logically it would also be a good time for the Dark Elves to make their return as well. And potentially we might see the Southern Realms, Telia and Astalia in that edition as well. It might be third edition we see Telia and Astalia. And I think this because of the list of factions they said were going to be in the old world, which was Bretonnia, Empire, Wood Elves, and High Elves. Those are the 4 good factions. Oh, sorry, Dwarves as well. I keep forgetting Dwarves exist. Definitely not biases. Right, so we've got those 5 factions, and then on the Chaos side we have Warriors of Chaos, Beastmen of Chaos, Orcs and Goblins, and Tomb Kings. Where's Cathay and Kislev? Right? those two factions, which we know they're working on model ranges for, are not on that list, right? Which seems a bit weird. Like, if we know they're bringing those armies, but they're not on the list. So we know for a fact that that list of factions for the Old World is not the definite. It's not the definitive and final list of factions. And I talked about it before, but it really does not make any sense to bring Cafe back. Well, make Cafe, rather. Without doing anything at all to introduce the threats and the reasons why Cafe exists in the way it does, right? And it's like, Cafe's armies exist to fight against the Ogre Kingdoms, Warriors of Chaos, Chaos Dwarves, and then the Sea People, well, the Underwater Sea Empire of yet to ever be really discussed origins. And then the Dark Elves, I suppose. It says Elven Pirates, which are written as a threat to Kislev. Not Kislev, to Cafe. Kislev has significant threats from Warriors of Chaos, Ogre Kingdoms, Dark Elves, and Chaos Demons. And you probably noticed that a couple of those factions overlap there. Like, it would make a lot of sense for the ogres to return in an edition, or like a group of factions which includes Cafe and Kislev. And the same with the Dark Elves as well. We don't know what's going to happen to the release cycle for the different game systems, which is going to be interesting because we now have 4 main game systems. Previously it was a 3-year cycle because there are 3 games, so each year there's a new edition for one of the flagship games. I have to see what they do there. Because the reason why I think each edition's going to be a new faction, or factions, focus, is because that's what Age of Sigmar does, right? Each edition of Age of Sigmar has like faction focuses or a narrative focus. And it seems pretty clear that this game system is going to have a narrative focus to the editions as well. So it's like right now, the narrative focus is on Bretonnia, the Border Princes, Southern Realms versus the Tomb Kings. We know that the next like books or like story focus is going to be, well, we don't know, but it's like probably one of the worst kept secrets at this point, other than Skaven for Age of Sigmar, is the Orcs versus the Dwarfs. And then it will be Beastmen and Wood Elves, High Elves versus Warriors of Chaos, and then Empire, establishing them for whatever the next phase of this story is going to be. Although, to be honest, the Empire has enough issues dealing with the Empire, as it's split in three at this point. I just find it really interesting when people say, oh, insert game is a dead game. Because there are, like, all the... Well, it's like, I'd say Age of Sigmar is a lot more dead right now than Horus Heresy is. Like, not just because the Horus Heresy just got the Solar Auxilia, but from my experience in my local hobby store, and from just talking to people, like, generally, most people seem to have noticed that the Age of Sigmar game is not doing very well. It does seem like at the moment the second edition rule set was a lot more popular, and that third edition is ultimately not received very well. Which, I know there's a lot of haters of Age of Sigmar here. I have strong opinions of it because what it replaced, but that's not really Games Workshop's... Well, that's not really Age of Sigmar's fault. That's Games Workshop's decision. Yeah. I know a lot of people who used to be really into Age of Sigmar, who have stopped playing it. Most of them have moved to playing 40k. Some to Horus Heresy. But none of them really play Age of Sigmar anymore. And I think it's a really interesting decision by Games Workshop, intentional or not, to have released the Old World now. And it's one which kind of intrigues me, because they've unintentionally, and quite potentially, made the perfect storm for Age of Sigmar to look bad. Right? Because, if Age of Sigmar is in trouble, which it does seem to be, why would you release a game which potentially, could cause you trouble for your sales? As whilst they are, in terms of playstyle, very different. I know quite a lot of people who just buy minis because they like the look of minis, right? I've still bought 40k stuff since 8th edition, even though I played like 3 games since 8th edition of 40k. Yeah, when Games Workshop's going to be looking at the sales, we're going to pay close attention to how the Old World does. And I think that the fact that for books, the Forces of Fantasy and the Ravening Chords books have sold, and the main rulebook itself, how those have sold will be a pretty good indicator to Games Workshop of just how badly things are going for Age of Sigmar. Went to buy the Arcane Journal today, but sold out, unfortunately. Yeah. So, and yeah, I've noticed that as well. I was having a look because I'm, like I said, planning to get a small Empire force to go with these Bretonnians. I was looking to see what stuff was still available from Games Workshop. And all of the old fantasy models, which are still, usable in fantasy. Well, sorry, in Age of Sigmar and fantasy, were all gone. I just realized I jumped the gun. Okay, hold on a second before we go. Also, if you desperately want to know stuff from the Arcane Journal, and yes, I've been thinking about it. I saw a wonderful picture of someone who'd used the Lumineth Realm Lords for the Old World, using a lot of the the models for the Lumineth Realm Lords, which look like fantasy units. So like the Spearmen and the definitely not Illyrian Reavers and stuff. And it made me realize just how well Sigmar models work for fantasy. And for example, all I did on this Lumineth was a head swap and remove the banner from his back. I just gave him an old winged elven helmet, and he looks really good. Like he just suits fantasy quite well. So I was thinking about using the cities of Sigmar models for certain units. Like I think it would be cool to like use some of them for like mercenaries and stuff. Here we go, baby formula. Well, welcome back, Mick. So yeah, now that there's people active in chat, I'm gonna ask a question I asked earlier because I want to know your opinions. So, lore-wise, how you paint your knights has changed. So, Knights of the Realm, well, Knights are all meant to be the Knights of Realm and Knight Errants are now meant to be painted up in the colours and the heraldry of their duke. So, in my case, I am painting mine up as the Dukedom of Bordello. So my guys are going to be blue and yellow. My question for you guys in chat is how close should I stick to that? And what I mean is, I quite like the idea of mixing up how the fields and divisions are. So, you know, it's like one of these might be like half blue to the left, half yellow to right. One might be blue and yellow quartered. Some might be all blue, some might be all yellow. Some might be blue with a yellow stripe, some might be yellow with a blue stripe, instead of just keeping it all like quartered blue and yellow, which I think is the correct way of doing Bordello. Yeah, it's like when it comes to the questing knights and knights, well, Grail knights, I do get around to building some. They will absolutely be in different heraldries. Yeah, I'm actually going to glue this one a bit more in place. Yeah, I want his the horses themselves will be painted up in different colours. I have bought a various shade of various colours horses I've come in as well, so we will have different coloured horses, like the actual horses themselves will be different colours. The barding, yeah, that's what we're discussing, but how the blue and yellow will be represented on them. I need to double check something. Yeah, how the Knights of the Realm are depicted in the book is like that. So they're all red and black quartered in this example because of the dukedom they're from. And whilst it looks cool, my eyes are immediately drawn to the questing knights and the and Grail knights in the background. But I don't want to go that far in individual heraldries for main knights. That's not the thing I want. It's this I want. Right. Right. I need the sword arm. Both units. Want that one. That one. So yeah, it's like when it comes to the red and black ones, the color scheme I'm going for is blue where it's red and yellow where it's black. What's the original Knights like big? So the original Bretonnian army, every knight had its own heraldry. If you still want to play an army that looks like that, you can. It's the Crusade army, which I'm very tempted to do at some point. Not really today, Dave. If you have any questions, though, and talk about them and go through it. Yeah, today we're focusing on building for minis. You've got to have at least one with a hunting falcon. Which means, so that's all the unspecified stuff, which means we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lances. So used to going for the thick plastic glue. Fine. Put you anyways. Okay. I'm gonna start needing to get the stab counter back, aren't I? How many times has Tuppy impaled himself on a Bretonnian lance? So right now the answer's already 1. It could be worse. Could be old high elf metal minis. Okay, if I need to go to ER because I've stabbed myself on a Bretonnian lance that badly, you know what? I'm going to be more impressed than anything, really. Right, now to give a Bretonnian's heads. One of the antlers is always cool. Dragon one is very cool. How many heads do I need? I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Seven. Eight. Nine. 10. Right. Let's tidy up these before we glue them on. Although it looks like this one's basically perfect. Where I did a bad job of I like the idea of having this guy as one of the champions. Okay, we're on to stabbed twice on a lance. So I'm not putting any, like, pressure towards me when I use the knife. That makes sense. What I'm doing is letting the knife slide sideways to cut through, rather than just, like, pushing forward so far that it's actually gonna do anything to me. Well, I'm yet to send myself to ER whilst on stream, so... I mean, it would be kinda entertaining if I did, though. Considering I'm streaming to two platforms with fairly harsh terms of services, I wonder if I'd get banned from both of them. Actually. I feel like that's just an obvious pairing, right? Hopefully the camera will focus. Welcome back, Aberrant. Yeah, stream's going well. Hopefully you're having a good time, Solitaire. I'm going to assume you got up there safely. Also, hi Gilfos, how's it going? Bit on your horse properly, there we go. Alright, so that is basically those Knights of the Realm done. As I'm not gonna so I'm not gonna glue the shields on again. Sub-assemblies, right? We've got them detached from the horses for a reason. It's so strange to US, I wasn't allowed to order any for... Really? You weren't allowed to order any for resin or metal model? Well, just resin or metal as well. Where else in the world was even for once getting that stuff like... Wow, that's a really interesting thing. And unfortunate. So yeah, I think the quicker people get playing this game, the better. Having a great time. Data is a business that can't stay. However, I hope you have a good time building some fantasy Frenchies. I will, Davos. Thanks for popping by. And remember, you can always watch your stream back on YouTube, so if you've missed anything, or you just want to listen to the conversations we've had whilst building and painting these minis. Yeah, I'll cut out one of the shields. Just for show. That was a perfectly clean cut. I'm really impressed. Because yeah, we have the little tabs on. Get off your horse. That goes on there, so fairly straightforward. It doesn't really interfere with the horse itself. They're actually riding historically, which is quite nice to see. So the main point of the shield is to protect the guy whilst he charges in. I can go for Minotaur's pipe. No. What time is it? Oh wow, we've done really well time-wise. I'm surprised. Move back. Well, I tried to keep that information. Doesn't help that a couple of bases are twisted. I'm going to talk to you guys I bought a box from about that. That's really weird, Gilfoot. Gilfos? Yeah, Gilfos. Let's do the Pegasus Knights. What I normally do is just put a tiny bit of super glue on and twist it in. You don't use that much super glue. It'll dry quite clear, so if you ever have any like older 40k models or any base models which aren't going on rectangular bases, you want to keep it clear. I know a lot of the newer stuff has switched away from using these bases. His old clear base design. That was stupid round one. Oh, come on. There we go. You now need the rectangular bases I put away earlier, which I totally remember where I put. by 60s. Let's put the horses together. And I'm going to do something a little bit different to the instructions, because we have the parts. Anything Chaos Warrior Anatomy. Nice. You're gonna need to post the pictures once you finish doing them, Faz, on the Discord server. Yeah, I'm not saying like do it right now. But I'd love to see what you're working on. Yeah, I suppose that's a reminder. If you are watching and you are enjoying, depending on what platform you're on, consider leaving a follow or a subscription if you're over on YouTube. Every Wednesday is a dedicated Warhammer the Old World stream around this time, and then throughout the week it varies up quite a bit as well. So if you're interested in BattleTech, Mondays and Fridays are the best days to hang out over on Twitch, and then Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays and Sundays is up to my Discord community. So if you particularly want to see me paint minis or play Warhammer Total War or something like that, then it's a good idea to head over to a Discord server to have a say in what I do. Because ultimately, I want to do what you guys want to see. One thing I'd suggest, Aberrant, is you look third party as well, if you're collecting vampires. As there are a lot of pretty good sculpts and designs out there, third party, for like vampire count looking armies. They are fairly popular across different ranges. I miss when you used to be able to just, I suppose I don't need to miss it anymore. Well, kind of. When you just buy, an entire Pegasus Knight on a sprue. I was like, oh, I want to buy a Pegasus Knight. I can just go and do that. Yeah, Highland Miniatures, and there's also Ve Victus. I'll put a link on the Discord server. Ve Victus has some very good ranges for common like fantasy trope stuff. Has some pretty good knightly stuff as well, and also sci-fi stuff. Been meaning to pick up some of their stuff for a gang or a Necromunda. Hey Mimic and Gojira, how's it going? Yeah, we are building the Pegasus Knights. And yeah, been working on our knights today. So we built the Knights of the Realm, and we are now building the Pegasus Knights. Although we've left them in a sub-assembly state, so the shields aren't glued on, and the riders aren't mounted to the horses yet. Because I'm not painting them all on yeah, there's one piece. That's not going to happen. Well, I should probably glue on the wings to the Pegasuses before I... Pegasuses? Pegasi? What's the term for plural of Pegasus? Or is it just still Pegasus? I feel like if I say it too many times, it's going to rapidly lose all meaning. Well, they're called Pegasus. Pegasus in Warhammer. It's never really stopped to think about what the plural. stay in place. Yeah, I kind of hope they don't replace the Pegasus Knights, because the wings are so beautifully detailed. And I really don't think Games Workshop in its current state could design better looking wings, honestly. Well, they sit basically how I've got them. Also, those of you who remember, I said about the plans to like build a hippogriff to be the Duchess of my army, and it's just occurred to me that one of the main debates with that was like how I should color the hippogriff. Because I want to keep with the ocean theme. So I was thinking a black-backed girl to be like for reference to the colours, the hippogriff. But I was also considering doing like baby seagull kind of colours. It just occurred to me they would be pretty good for these. And hey Hugh, how's it going? Right, so let's build up the torsos for the other three. I talk about ideas. Yeah, I'm doing good, Hugh. Bit stressed out because still haven't got a job yet, but otherwise, I'm doing okay. Very lucky to have incredibly wonderful friends who offered to buy this box for me so I can pay them back later. if you want to help me build a Bretonnian army and you want to support me, the best way to do so is via Ko-fi. Shameless plug and shilling, but yeah. Right now, this channel is entirely dependent on the support of everyone here for hobby and content. Mix glue. There we go. Being working tomorrow. Well, hopefully you enjoy your work. On the note of work, because I know there's some people who are interested in my personal life. I actually have an interview tomorrow. Well, 2 interviews tomorrow, but one is for a job which I'm fairly certain I won't get. But due to my agreement with the government for the sake of state benefits, I have to attend, which is fun. You know, it's for a job that's not relevant to me. It's a little bit annoying. And then I have a interview on Monday for a job which I'd actually quite like. Sounds quite interesting. See how well gluing this one together with thin glue goes. Better than I expected, which is nice. Yeah, it's good to hear you, and thanks. So we're going to use thicker glue for actually gluing the body in to minimize any gaps. Right, so what we're going to do is do some subtle hit bashing that had a bit more variety, but then also something a bit more useful to this unit. We're going to take 1 lance from this sprue, and then because we have some spare lances from the other sprues, I'm going to take 1 of those lances and the Knight Errant's Knights of the Realm. And we are also, because I can see myself doing it in the future, I'm going to preemptively put one of the banners on as well. So we're going to have two guys with spears, one with the banner. Or standard. I can kind of see myself running a few more Pegasus Knights. And having the standard is always handy. And it just looks cool, the idea of a guy flying through the sky. Holding the standard. I suppose it could be a girl now as well. That's kind of difficult for me to hold on camera the angle I need it to be. You're gonna have to bear with me and just believe in me and believe this model's gonna look good. And I might have to grab the super clip. So how's everyone doing? I know I'm having to lean back a weird angle basically to try and make this work. I can't see what we're going together, but right, there we go. Got him. move away to a banner's been really annoying. So he's going to just have to, like, stay at the ground for a little bit. Think about what he's done. Whilst gravity holds the banner in place whilst it dries. Alright, let's do the lances. I'm gonna just assume they're gonna behave a bit better. See? Not too difficult, was it? And other head options. And to be honest, there's one from the Knights of the Realm, which again looks like it would be a very good fit here, so snip that off. And there's two from a Pegasus kit, which look like they'd be good, so we'll take those as well. And what I'll do once the stream's finished is I'll put some like beauty photos up on the Discord server. If you want to have a better look at what we've put together today, you can over there. This one would be best for the Wounded Bearer. And he's going to require thicker glue. Yeah, catch you later. You have a good one. I'm just gonna not bother with the thin glue for this last one. Straight for a thicker glue. There we go. Alright, let's glue these boys down to their bases. And it looks like you can just go straight for the center of the base. These stands, because it looks like they'll hold relatively well. I'm just going to use super glue down onto it. Always had mixed luck when it comes to trying to use plastic glue with these. Let me go straight for super glue. But I know people who swear by using plastic glue or use flight stands. Dry. Unless I can find the activator. They will dry by themselves. But... start to do its magic. Put some more and just help it activate a bit quicker. Yeah, right. The exceptions of putting the shields on. I think we're done. Double check. Oh, the little tilting shields. I've forgotten those. It'd be awesome to have a Pegasus as a pet. I suppose as a work animal. I'm not sure pet's really the right word, but regardless, it'd be really cool to have. There we go. Alright, I think that's them done, so computer camera focus. There we go. Oh, a Pegasus standard bearer. So even if I'm not using Pegasus Knights, I might use a Duke on a Pegasus. A regular Pegasus Knight. Our Knight of Realm with a Falcon. A Raptor, whatever kind of bird it is. Yeah, Raptor's just a safe word, isn't it? Because that's just and he also, not sure if it's going to be able to show properly because the autofocus is a bitch. He also has the bird helmet as well. And we have one of the more standard looking champions. Absolutely majestic. Again, need to blue shields onto these guys. Yeah. Whew. We made some very good progress today. So next time we have the other unit men-at-arms and the peasant bowman as well. Alright, whether that's tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, or next Wednesday, hopefully you'll join me for then. Make sure to join my Discord server so you have an idea of when I'm going live and with what. Usually try to go live before 9 o'clock UK time and stream for however long. Today's been a bit longer, although it seems to be a bit of a habit to stream until 12 at this point, because I can. Hopefully you've enjoyed. As always, make sure you're following or subscribed if you're over on YouTube, so you know when I'm going live and with what. Make sure to join my Discord server so you can have a say on the days in which there isn't anything scheduled. And or if you just want to just hang out as well, it's a great place to hang out and play games or just get advice or ask me questions. I have the books, so if you want to know more about the lore or about the rules, then you can always ask me and I can always tell you. And finally, if you really like what I've been doing here and you want to see more of it, consider supporting me via Ko-fi. As you can see by the bar across the top of the screen, I am currently trying to raise money to actually complete this Bretonnian army. So if there's any units you'd like to see, or you want help with building, you can always well, basically help me buy it so I can show you how to do it. Once we get on to building Questing Knights and Grail Knights, I will be using Twitch channel points to allow you guys to choose the colours for the knights and the pattern as well, within reason. So if there's any like colours you're struggling with or any ideas you'd like to see put onto a knight to help you choose your own army, you can always make me do it for you. And also I do take commissions as well through Ko-fi, so if you want a particular unit built and painted, I should probably start reminding people that's a thing as well. Well, it wasn't really like a proper commission. I did paint Nathaniel Garrow for Hamish, whenever Hamish bothers to come and collect him now. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining me. It's been a lot of fun and hugely nostalgic building Bretonnians once again. This is something I haven't built since I was 10, 11, I think. Well, that's when I first started. I don't know when the last time I built a Bretonnian thing was. It's been a while, basically, so it's good to be back. Right, enough rambling. Hopefully you've all had a wonderful time. I have, and yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow for whatever shenanigans we get up to. Have a good one.